Shorty!
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 Drink beer. Think beer. You're listening to Brew Bloods.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Brew Bloods. We're taking the week off, but what you're about to hear is what we recorded for the What's on Tap podcast at Peticolas Brewing on New Year's Eve 2016. We're joined again by Stefan from What's on Tap and Javi from Central Track. If you want to subscribe to What's on Tap, go to what'sontappodcast.com. That's what'sontappodcast.com. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our show. All the links can be found at brewbloods.net. Thanks for listening to the show, and here's our episode with the What's on Tap podcast.
Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Okay, this is a very special episode of What's on Tap podcast. Matthias is not here today. He is back in Sweden, and I am in Dallas, Texas, celebrating the Peticolas 5th anniversary. I don't know, what is it?
Anniversary.
It's
our 5th anniversary New Year's Eve party.
Right, and so as you can hear, I am joined by many people, including the gentleman from Brew Bloods.
Hello. Mark and Dustin.
Yep, Mark and Dustin. Yeah,
the Brew Bloods podcast, another podcast.
Yeah, and we are also joined by a very special guest.
Javier Fuentes. I write for a local Dallas site called Central Track for the most part. Do movie reviews and podcasts with these two guys.
And he wears jorts.
Yeah, and I love jorts.
And he loves jorts.
Currently wearing some right now.
Yeah. Jorts, a flannel shirt, and drinking a light Mexican lager.
As he should be. Yeah. We have to stereotype. He's going to use the word vato a lot, so just be prepared for that.
Essay.
He's our local hipster.
He only has his top button. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
He's also wearing a blue bandana on his head.
Right.
Yeah, he is all about thug life. Thug life didn't choose thug life. Thug life chose him.
Right. You can't help it.
It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're very excited about this. Peticolas is one of the Dallas kind of like premier microbreweries in the area. You guys know much more about it. You guys are all up their ass. So why don't you tell us on...
Elbow to asshole is your preferred term?
Tell me the story of Peticolas.
Well, this is their 5th anniversary, started by Michael Peticolas, who is a giant football fan, I guess in European terms, soccer fan. And that's kind of a recurring theme throughout the brewery is you see a lot of soccer emblems and football teams. There's always football on the TV, American and soccer. He doesn't can or bottle. He only does kegs. And it's he really strives for balance and freshness in all of his beers. He doesn't like the what would we call a bit beer, like a peanut butter chocolate stout or extreme jalapeno bomb beer. All of his beers, he strives for balance throughout them. So his premier beer is Velvet Hammer, which is a hoppy red ale, one of my favorite beers in Dallas, and it's still I think my favorite beer that he does. Although I like many of his beers, just because it's a standout. So. That's the short and sweet of it.
And Michael's a former attorney, so he's also helped with some Texas laws that have needed to be changed in the brewery realm and the beer realm.
He's helping get distribution laws changed.
Yeah, I think you guys have had a lot of interesting conversations with him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's very, he likes to talk, and he likes to talk about everything around beer. So he's a really nice guy.
And a very brief history of just Dallas. 2008 or so is when 2004, 2005, the first couple of craft breweries appeared. We only had two, one in Fort Worth, one in McKinney. And then Peticolas was part of the second wave that came in around 2012 with Deep Elm.
Right. So when I lived here, it was RAR and...
Franconia.
No, it wasn't Franconia. Or at least they weren't well known at the time.
Right.
It was maybe Revolver.
No, Revolver.
No, Revolver was a little later.
Yeah,
we're talking like 9 years ago. So 10 years ago, basically.
That's all I remember was RAR and Franconia.
Franconia was 2008, and I think RAR was 2004, and they were really it until 2012 boom kind of happened.
Yeah.
And now we have, 60 craft breweries, somewhere in that ballpark?
Those lines. And it's growing more. We've got way too many breweries that
from what I
we don't even know about.
There's 40 more licenses up for approval in the next year.
All right, and since I've tried some really, really great Texas beers. So I think Deep Elm Brewery is probably my favorite so far of the ones I've tried.
Yeah, they just got sold, actually. They just sold themselves.
Yeah. What have you liked from them so far?
Well, I tried their the Deep Elm IPA. I thought that was very solid. And then I tried the Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
And both of those were just, outstanding.
I wish you'd been here around whenever they had the Wealth and Taste. I feel like that's their best beer.
Yeah.
I actually... I don't know, through shady dealings and connections, I managed to get a keg for my sister's wedding 3 years ago, and that was really hard to get. But it's a Chardonnay age. What is it? Is it a strong ale? I believe it's like I think it's like 9 to 10%. But that is honestly one of their best beers.
Their Four Swords is also very good.
Yes,
that's their aged barley wine and wine barrels, I believe.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I like Jesus, Noble Ray. I like their packaging.
They're down the street, man.
Their packaging is amazing.
So if you go look at
wasn't crazy about the beer that you sent me.
Yeah, is that the Baracus Brown Ale?
I think so.
The Off the Leash.
Off the leash.
The one that's got a dominatrix on. Yeah. So all their cans are designed so if you stack the two of them together, you'll get a full, complete picture of their artwork.
Exactly. Yeah. They're beautiful cans, and I saw the Six in the Canoe, which I thought was really funny. Which is a mermaid, basically, design, but I found it. I really like the name of that.
Yeah, they're down the street, actually, from here.
They're a local brew pub.
Yeah, it's funny because right now where we're at in Dallas is called the Design District. Essentially.
All right. So to paint a picture here, this is a warehouse district.
Yeah.
And it's one of those neighborhoods where you're driving through and you're kind of like, should I be here?
Am I going to get shit?
Where am I? Where am I exactly? This is not a neighborhood where you're just.
Is Hobby's gang going to pop around the corner?
Exactly. if you shouldn't be here, you would not be here.
That's why we roll with
it. But the irony is that then you take a little closer look and you'll see all these galleries of high-end art, expensive, furniture stores with mid-century modern, $3,000 chairs or something like that.
A small batch soda company right around the corner.
Oh yeah, I saw that. As well as there's the cider shop that's really nice. Bishop's
cider. They just opened up a barcade, so
I saw that, and it was.
Gotta go there.
A lot of small batch free range stuff around here.
Yeah, it's gluten free,
gluten free, vegan. Yeah.
Everything handcrafted,
locally sourced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So today we're drinking the Operation Collaboration Peticolas. It's a funnily enough, a collaboration I did with Green Flash out of California. It's an American IPA, 8% ABV, and 75 IBU. So
you're just all over stats, mister.
You are Mr. Stats. That's how we roll in Brew Boys. That's our format.
Mr. Stats.
Lots of numbers, lots of facts.
I'm not even getting it more than edgewise there. You're just like bam, 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 bam.
Well, long-time podcaster, so.
Yeah. So
Green Flash on its own is a very good brewery.
Yes,
I
absolutely love Green Flash. They do some really great stuff.
Their just standard issue West Coast IPA is one of the best West Coast IPAs going. I mean, it is one of the standard bearers for sure in the United States. So I've actually never had this.
Oh, really?
It's one of their beers I just always missed, like the Prime Minister, which they have on tap here.
Yeah, this one's not out a ton.
No.
And
I still haven't had the Thrill Brazil either, which is another one they only do.
Yeah, that one's the one they do only during soccer.
World
season.
Cup years.
Yep.
So I thought it was just World Cup years.
Oh, really?
And so they have that here today.
I don't know if they have Thrill in Brazil here. I'm not sure.
I thought that they had everything here.
Maybe they do. Well, I haven't seen Pickhammer either. So I've seen
what's the Pickhammer?
This event is a sham.
What is the Pickhammer's like their lightweight?
It's their lightweight velvet hammer. Yeah.
Oh shit! We gotta call Alex out, man.
It's extremely lightweight. They may have it. I just haven't seen it.
Hey, bro, where's it at?
So what is this called again? This is the
Operation Collaboration.
Collaboration. I will say I'm really liking this, the look and the style, and this. We've had this for about. I think it's 30 minutes now.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he filters many of his beers.
No, it's super cloudy. Yeah. It's got a nice golden haze to it.
Got a good head on it.
Very honeyish. Yeah, and it's really frothed up. Quite nice.
It's still pretty carbonated. Actually, we've been here how long?
About 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's still going. It's still got a little bit of very thin head.
And he does. He also does another IPA, the Sit Down or Sit Down, which is a double IPA. Which
is this a double IPA or a regular?
This
IPA?
is a single IPA.
It smells like a double IPA.
Yeah, but it smells very similar to the Sit Down.
It smells a lot like it's got that kind of malty sweetness that you get from a double IPA sometimes.
It's not as strong as the Sit Down though.
No.
Sit Down's
got a touch of those West Coast hops.
5.4%.
7%.
7%.
So it's like you get that double flavor. Without double
8%.
ABV.
It's not a double. I mean, technically this is a double IPA at 8%.
It's an imperial, but not necessarily a double.
Imperial, all right. Potato, whatever. Yeah.
But I think the Sit Down is like 9 or 10, right?
I think it's 10.
It's like a triple then.
Yeah.
That's the thing with most Peticolas beers. Like if you find one that's below 10% or 9%, that's kind of like... That's kind of the more drinkable ones. Yeah, exactly. That's
the one they just released, which was Turn Up the Lights, is their Irish Dry Stout, very Guinness-like, is I think 5%.
Yeah, it's like 5.6.
Yeah, they wanted to get something more sessionable.
Yeah.
Alfred Brown's only 5.3. Yeah, they got a couple.
But a lot of their flagship beers are very big.
Yeah,
big ABV.
because we just tried 5 years of what was it again? It was a barley wine.
Great Scott.
Yeah, the Great Scott.
The Great Scott. Yeah, and those are all 11%.
Yeah.
And then I tried the 2013 double Belgian, and that was another 11%.
Yeah,
so
they're big beers.
Yeah.
And their Wintervention, which is they only release once a year.
Is the Duke not the barley wine?
The Duke is a barley wine.
Yeah.
So what was the Great Scott?
Great Scott was was that the Belgian?
Maybe bench.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we
Double Belgian.
We should know this, but
I am expecting you to have everything memorized.
I know.
You have to pause.
Facts and figures.
These awkward moments of because we have the king of Ed that knows everything. And
Great Scott is appropriately a Scotch ale.
A Scotch ale.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. Yeah.
So you are the professor of what are you?
Stuff.
Yeah.
Professor of things and professor of things.
Yeah.
So between the two of you,
We know a lot about nothing.
Yes.
2 PhDs failed back to back.
All right. So taking a sip, I would say this tastes like hands down double IPA. Just straight up the line.
It's got almost tropical. It's got a lot of tropical notes to it.
Oh, yeah.
I find a more
got a smooth
malty,
back end to it.
danky kind of flavor to it.
Very dank. You know, it
dank
reminds
up
me.
front.
Have you had the Founders Ridiculous?
I have, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of a bit of that.
See that?
Yeah.
It actually reminds me a little bit of, to reference a Dallas beer, the Dream Crusher. It reminds me a little bit of that without the booze.
Yeah,
of the
there's
Dream
not a lot of
Crusher.
booze to it, for
No,
sure.
it's very
Well, it's
easy
kinda
to
really-
drink,
I don't
but
find-
it's flavorful.
Yeah, I don't find this overly boozy. I find it very dank and just kind of refreshing.
Oh, it's like
almost.
it's like opening up a fresh dime bag or something, of cheap pot. It's got that,
of cheap Mexican weed.
that retronasal effect of translating, smell to taste or vice versa. It definitely reminds me of like cheap weed, which is not a bad thing. I mean, pleasant effects.
I mean, hops and weed have a lot of correlation.
Yeah,
They're in the
exactly.
same family, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. But it's got on the back end, like on the roof of my mouth, very tropical notes, almost pineapple-y or grapefruity.
Pretty much so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I totally get
I
that.
get that too. I get a hop finish, but I get the pineapple in the middle.
I get more of the malty flavor.
Oh, it's malty up front.
Like
I'm just thinking
so malty.
Yeah. It's dime bag up front,
no,
but
But it's
saying-
like overtaking everything else for me, at least.
No, I do get the malt. The malt is kind of the resiny undercurrent that you get, but you definitely get that finishing note of the pineapple and tropical fruit nature.
it's happy little trees up front for sure.
It very much is, yeah. And I think that probably comes more from the green flash stuff
Yeah.
than from Peticolas itself.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a green flash signature to it for sure.
I think it's really smooth drinking, though. I mean,
It
it's
is.
not. It kind of coats the tongue a little bit, but
Which,
it doesn't dry you out.
Again,
It's a good balance.
It's I say problem. It's a recurring problem. I'd say that it sounds bad, but it's not. His beers are almost all of them are inherently drinkable, but being high ABV, it's easy to slip into that dangerous territory very quickly with them because you just don't notice that you're drinking because they're never boozy. They're always really well balanced, and before you know it, you've had 5 or 6 Velvet Hammers, and you're hammered.
I mean, I feel like then at that point you've got to have a problem.
As the slogan says,
you can't remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there.
No,
So
Yeah.
he's not a session guy, is what you're saying.
No,
he is very much.
He likes the big bold beers, but well balanced. Yeah, I think he's trying to do more session-y stuff just to be a little more have a balanced portfolio.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, I don't know. I really appreciate something so flavorful, but not having the stigma of it's 10 or 11% ABV.
Yeah.
This is a good beer. It just sucks that it's not that easy to find sometimes.
Well, like we've said, with our extremely fatty, scarred livers, like 8% is really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So you could have a couple of these, and it's not going to put you on your ass too quick.
the three of us are all going to do liver transplants into each other.
Yeah.
pretty shortly.
We're doing a rotation, like every few years.
We're just gonna just quarter each liver and just pass it around.
Yeah,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Just like Wolverine. So, do you guys? I forgot. You guys do scores on these?
We do scores. All right.
Out of 5,
so we
right?
do out of 5. So, Javi, as the special guest, what do you give this?
I would say this is a 4 out of 5. I really like it.
All right.
It's really good and drinkable, flavorful IPA, and that's it's really good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go probably 4 1/4 because it's different. It's different enough than a lot of the IPAs we get around here or that people make. We get a lot of dank IPAs, but I really like the more tropical somewhat sour flavors in it, which is very different than a lot of Dallas IPAs. So I like it. I think it's a great collaboration. I think Peticolas' balance combined with Green Flash's IPA style, I think it merges well. And I wish they would do this more, but I understand why they can't. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I would probably go to 4.25 as well, because I think it's very drinkable. It's got the little bit of just a touch of the Green Flash harshness, but the Peticolas balances it out, and I think it's really smooth and drinkable. So, 4.25.
Yeah, I will also go 4.25. I think this is just hands down solid double IPA. It ranks up there with, like, if you've had Cloudwater or a couple of other double IPAs, that it's not like the malty version, which I absolutely cannot stand.
Right.
I honestly, I thought for a few months I just hated double IPAs because they were all so malty. But I mean, this is just, it's got that nice balance between the two, and I really, really enjoy this. If I wasn't already hammered off of the extremely the sledgehammer was okay. I still need to try the velvet hammer. I'm going to do that next, because I got to say, I got to have the signature thing they're known for. But this was really, really good. And thank you guys for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
And
thank you.
And thank you for telling me and inviting me to this, because this has been a really great event, and just a great exposure to, I think, a really great brewery. And hopefully he gets a little more ambitious and starts maybe canning and can put things out. I mean, Crowlers would be absolutely amazing.
Peticolas, Michael, he knows that everybody wants him to can. He's just resistant because of the freshness problem. He wants everything to be as super fresh as possible, which is why he's been hesitant to do it.
All right, we can get, that's like a whole other thing.
I know.
It's just ego talking right there. I mean,
remember when Franconia was like, well, we're only going to bottle whatever grocery stores have a recycling system,
and then everyone did it, and he goes, "Okay, we'll do it."
Yeah, we got to do it. Exactly. So
I mean, like, honestly, once you can something, the freshness level stays.
It does
extremely high for a much longer time. I mean, 3 to 6 months out for the most part, and especially the stuff he's doing, the high ABV stuff. That's going to be good a year out.
I think he's more resistant to bottling than canning, but I don't because obviously light and oxidation through the bottling process, leaking through the bottle caps. I think he's more resistant to that than canning, but he obviously hasn't invested in canning either. So
also, like, looking at the brewery here. Where would they put a canning?
Yeah,
that's also another thing too.
Yeah,
I don't think that they built it with that in mind. So
sure.
Hey, where'd you say the restrooms were?
Beside that car, right there.
Yeah. Just squat behind the car right there. Next to the.
Beautiful.
Do what?
Are you still recording?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it's
I'm glad we caught that. Yeah.
All this golden conversation.
Leave all that in there.
Oh, don't
This is
forget.
all in here. Look, I don't have any way to edit this stuff.
And don't forget, you can catch Stefan on our podcast, brewbloods.net.
Yeah.
Come listen to his episode. I don't know what we're doing, but
Yeah. So we are going to do a Omnipolo outside the lines cardamom beer, which I've had before, absolutely love.
I don't even know what cardamom tastes like.
But my co-host, if you've ever had Indian food, cardamom is pretty present
so I'm
now.
probably gonna hate it then.
Yeah. No, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
All right.
I'm looking forward to that.
Good.